Jackie.
Jack Starks, an American soldier serving in the Gulf War, finds himself caught in the midst of the conflict with Iraq. As the war escalates, American troops confront the Iraqi forces, guns raised, ordering them to raise their hands. Amidst this, Jack, a veteran of the 1991 Gulf War, approaches a group of Iraqis. A young boy separated from his group catches Jack's attention. Jack approaches the child, asking politely if he is all right. However, the child pulls out a gun and shoots Jack in the head. Jack falls to the ground, losing his memories and believing himself to be a 27-year-old man when he first died. As he drifts in and out of consciousness, Jack recalls feeling alive, surrounded by vast emptiness, and hoping for something better. Just as Jack contemplates his fate, a female soldier covers him with a white blanket, while a male soldier stands nearby. The male soldier inquires about Jack's age, and the woman replies that he is 27. When the woman notices Jack's eyes moving, she alerts the male soldier, exclaiming that Jack is alive as he blinks slightly, miraculously recovering from the bullet wound. Jack, a Gulf War veteran, returns to Vermont in 1992. Doctors discuss Jack's condition, diagnosing him with amnesia. 12 months later, in Vermont, Jack walks down a snow-covered street when he suddenly spots a car with a woman and a young girl inside. He approaches them and asks if they are all right. The young girl explains that their car won't start, and Jack inquires if the woman is her mother. The girl confirms, and Jack turns to the woman, named Jean, who appears to be drunk. Jack asks the young girl to take care of her mother and then offers to fix the car. After fixing it, the young girl, named Jackie, notices Jack's dog tags and asks if she can keep them. Jack agrees. As he fixes the car, Jackie hugs him, but Jean suddenly stands up, accusing Jack of being inappropriate with her daughter. Jack leaves, and as he walks away, a car approaches. He gets in, and after a brief conversation with the driver, a police car pulls up. The driver stops and a cop exits the vehicle, leading to Jack's arrest. The scene transitions to a courtroom where the judge asks about the physical presence of Jackie and Jean at the scene. Jack testifies that there was someone else present, but the judge dismisses his claims. Due to his Gulf War trauma and amnesia, no one believes him. Jack is sent to a detention center, where they believe he killed a cop with a slug from the policeman's gun. Jack is moved to a criminally insane facility, where he takes his medication and falls asleep. Nurse Harding and another man named Damon come into his room, inject him with something, and drag him to a basement. Dr. Thomas Backer is there, giving orders to put Jack in a straitjacket before locking him in a morgue drawer. As Jack lies inside, he experiences flashes of his past, including the moment he was shot and the day the police officer was killed. After some time, Dr. Backer orders that Jack be removed from the drawer and returned to his room. Rudy, another patient, is watching TV when Jack sits beside him. Rudy introduces himself and explains that he tried to kill his wife multiple times, though he claims it was never intentional. Dr. Beth Lawrenson approaches them, asking about their health. Jack responds that he is fine. Later, Jack is brought to the basement again for another session in the morgue drawer. Backer is pleased that Jack seems more cooperative, but is shocked when Jack suddenly grabs the straitjacket and strikes him in the face with it. Backer falls, and in his anger, he leaves the basement without giving instructions on how long Jack should stay inside. Dr. Hopkins expresses his concerns to Backer about how Jack is being treated, but Backer reassures him that the medication is necessary to curb Jack's violent tendencies. Dr. Hopkins goes back to the morgue, where Jack is pleading to be let out, but Hopkins leaves him there. Jack then experiences more flashes of his past before finding himself at a gas station. A woman named Jackie comes out of a diner and notices Jack as she walks to her car. She warns Jack that there won't be any cabs available since it's Christmas Eve. She offers him a ride, and Jack, with no particular destination in mind, accepts. Jackie takes him to her house and, after calling several shelters with no luck, offers Jack a place to stay. She tells him to help himself to anything in the fridge if he's hungry. When Jack introduces himself, Jackie refuses to know his name. After she takes a bath, Jack prepares sandwiches for them, and they talk. Jack points out a rock in her fridge, named Petal, which she explains was her nickname given by her mother. After a few drinks, Jackie passes out. Jack finds his dog tags and a picture of Jackie and Jean. He asks Jackie about the photo, and she reveals that it was taken in 2007, explaining that her mother died in a fire after passing out with a lit cigarette. Jack is shocked when Jackie tells him that he died on New Year's Eve in 1993. She then leaves. Jack returns to the morgue drawer, and when Dr. Backer arrives, he reprimands Dr. Hopkins for leaving Jack there all night, stressing that Hopkins should have used common sense. When the nurses find Jack back in his room, Dr. Beth Lawrenson notices bruises on Jack's body and confronts Backer about it. She fears Jack could end up like a former patient, Ted Casey, and urges Backer to stop trying to reprogram Jack. Backer retorts that Lawrenson was the one who failed with Casey. After her shift, Lawrenson stops by to check on the son of a friend, Babak Yazdi, who is suffering from autism. Babak is nonverbal but responds to Lawrenson's requests by pointing to objects. The next day, Backer informs Jack that it is already December 26th because he had slept for an entire day. After Backer leaves, Jack removes his IV and heads for the exit. Lawrenson follows him and insists he return, but Jack tells her he doesn't belong there because he isn't crazy. Lawrenson says she stopped Backer from treating him, but Jack replies he didn't want to stop because it made him feel like a different person. Back at the asylum, Jack asks Rudy if he knows about Backer's treatment. Jack reveals he will die in 4 days after spending time in the drawer. Rudy advises him to ignore the past and focus on the present. During a counseling session, Rudy and Jack face trouble with other patients trying to convince Backer to put Jack in the drawer. Returning to the drawer, Jack recalls the day the police officer was murdered. After the cop pulled them over, the stranger who picked him up shot the officer as soon as he stepped out of the car. The policeman fired back in self-defense but grazed Jack. Jack falls unconscious from the gunshot. The stranger then kills the officer, wipes his fingerprints off the gun, and throws it in front of Jack before leaving him behind. Soon, Jack returns to 2007 and visits the diner where Jackie worked as a waitress. During Jackie's break, they light cigarettes and chat. Jack tells Jackie he wants to know how he died. She says she only knows about Dr. Backer, who treated Jack, and Dr. Lawrenson, who treated a boy named Babak. She agrees to take him back to Alpine Grove. At the hospital, Jack pretends to be his own nephew to convince staff to give him information about his death. A doctor reveals Jack died of head trauma, but has no further details. Later, Jack and Jackie ask about the psychiatrists who treated him. The doctor says only Dr. Lawrenson worked there. Jack asks about Hopkins and Backer. The doctor says Hopkins died, and he's unfamiliar with Dr. Backer. Later, the doctor takes them to Dr. Lawrenson. They greet her and sit down. Lawrenson smiles at Jack and says he looks exactly like his uncle. She adds that Jack was her most memorable patient because he helped her treat Babak. However, she says she cannot provide any details about the head trauma that killed Jack. After leaving Lawrenson's office, Jack and Jackie head to the basement to see if the drawer is still there. Damon, now a patient at the hospital, confronts them, saying they are in a restricted area. Damon tells Jack to stop pretending to be his nephew. Jack asks Damon if he knows how he died, but Damon says Jack's lifeless body was found in the asylum. Jack then badgers Damon, accusing him of being responsible for his death, but Damon denies ever touching him. A nurse arrives and tells Damon it's time for his medication. Outside the hospital, Jackie tells Jack she helped track down Backer. Through the window, Lawrenson watches them. Later, they go to Jackie's house and make love. Jack tells Jackie he doesn't have much time because he will soon return to 1992. Jackie begs him to come back, but Jack says he cannot control it. Soon, Jack disappears while Jackie sleeps. The next day, Jack tells Lawrenson he traveled to 2007 while in the drawer. Lawrenson is skeptical and suspects Rudy might be feeding him these ideas. She reveals Rudy isn't confined for trying to kill his wife, but because he posed a danger to himself by locking himself in his home for 2 months after his wife left him for another man. Jack, however, says he doesn't care why Rudy is confined. Lawrenson insists Jack's accounts of time travel are part of his delusion. Jack then tells her about Babak and explains she told him about Babak in 2007. Lawrenson grows nervous and leaves the room. Later, Rudy comes in, gives Jack a cigarette box, and leaves angrily when Jack asks about his wife. That night, Lawrenson visits Babak and asks his mother if she told anyone about her sessions with Babak. The mother insists no one knows. Upon returning to 2007, Jackie informs Jack that Lawrenson used mild electroshock therapy to treat Babak's condition. She notes the boy couldn't speak because of seizures. Later, Jack and Jackie go to Backer's house, but a neighbor says he went to church. When Backer sees Jack, he is surprised. When Jack confronts him about his death, Backer claims the treatment might have driven Jack to kill himself. Jack says he couldn't have taken his own life because he died from blunt force trauma. Backer says he doesn't remember much about the day Jack died, but Jack mentions some of Backer's patients from the last time he was out of the drawer. Backer insists they were criminals, but Jack says they were his patients, and his memories of them haunt him because of the terrible things he did. After Backer leaves, Jack suddenly feels weak after a vision of his past. Jackie helps him into a car. He then finds himself pulled back to 1992 and asks Jackie for her childhood address. She gives it to him and he disappears. When Backer pulls Jack out of the drawer, Jack tells him the names of his former patients and says the memories will stay with him for the rest of his life. Later that day, Jack tells Lawrenson that Babak cannot speak properly because of constant seizures. Jack reveals Lawrenson will use electroconvulsive therapy on Babak, but Lawrenson argues no one uses that treatment on children. That night, Lawrenson hesitantly treats Babak with a mild electric shock, hoping to stop the seizures. Babak convulses as she turns on the machine. After she switches it off, the boy responds to her requests to speak. The treatment is successful. The next day, Lawrenson returns to the asylum. Jack convinces her to take him to Jackie's house to personally deliver a letter to Jean. Jack says he will die later that night, so Lawrenson agrees. Upon arrival, Jackie instantly recognizes Jack as the man who fixed their car. Jack asks the girl to call Jean so he can speak with her. When Jean arrives, Jack hands her the letter and tells her it's important to believe it. Before leaving, Jack asks Jean to keep using the nickname Petal for Jackie because she likes it. On the way back to the hospital, Jack asks Lawrenson to put him back in the jacket. Upon arrival, Jack collapses, experiencing a flashback of the Iraqi boy shooting him in the head. As his head bleeds, he repeats his request to be put in the jacket. Jean reads the letter. In it, Jack explains he first died during the Gulf War at age 27. He says he will die again later that night and they will find his body the next day. He stresses he is telling the truth and urges her to check the asylum. He warns Jean that she will die someday after passing out with a lit cigarette in her hand. Jackie will miss her and she will grow up miserable like Jean due to her absence. Jack pleads with Jean to stay sober so she can look forward to a better life with Jackie. He encourages Jean to keep living because the only thing she will want when she dies is to come back to life. Lawrenson and Hopkins manage to put Jack into the drawer before he passes away. When Jack returns to 2007, he sees Jackie leaving the diner wearing a coat over her nurse uniform. Jackie drives past him but immediately backs up and asks if he is okay. She notices his head wound and offers him a ride to the hospital. On the way, Jackie suddenly receives a call from her mother. Jack is delighted to hear Jean is alive and still has a good relationship with Jackie. And to have a good relationship with a nice story, I recommend you click my recaps on the right next. Don't forget to subscribe for future uploads and drop a like to support my channel. As always, grab your popcorn, enjoy yourself, and see you soon, my friend.